another fan from the UK.
All right. Hey,
Yeah.
Matt.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How you doing?
All right. You are live on Automate All the Things.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, everyone. This is our last stream of the year. Uh, this is the 30th stream. I,
Wow,
I, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that we got to
amazing.
30. Um, how about we start there? Folks, say hi in the chat. Matt, give us a quick intro into yourself.
Absolutely. So, good evening, everybody. I'm from the UK. You can probably tell from my accent, so it's quite late
No,
over
we
here.
hadn't noticed. We hadn't noticed.
Okay, right. Okay, no one knows. And apparently, I've got a better camera than Aaron, which is great. So, my stream setup, we're comparing notes already. So, he's going to upgrade after this, apparently. Yes, I work at a SaaS platform. We'll go into that in a bit more detail soon. And I love no code. I love code as well, but I'm not very good at it. And essentially, I've been following Aaron for a long time, and I'm looking at ways to essentially make my workflow simpler and easier, and to use some of the tools that you guys out there are using already, like Zapier, Integromat, and obviously Airtable is the big one, and connecting it with some of the tools that I'm using on a daily basis, like Salesforce, like Google Calendar, like Gmail, etc. And I think for novices like myself, there's a bit of a gap really for people that go out, I want to do it, but I just don't quite know what it looks like and how I should be doing it. So I built quite a rough Airtable that I use regularly. And essentially, I just reached out to Aaron and said, look, I know you're looking for people to be on a stream. I've got something here. It could be something really interesting and really good. It isn't at the moment, but I'd love it if you could take it apart and kind of kick the tires on it and find out what I could be doing better. And, ideally, we could build something together on Twitch, which is really
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing the base because I think it's such a good example of, yeah, welcome to the stream. Is this your
Thank you very
first
much.
time streaming?
Yeah, first time streaming.
Awesome.
I've got my tinsel up for you guys here as well. So I'm like getting a bit festive here.
I gotta
Yeah, no,
say,
it's great to be here.
I do feel like you've one up me on my stream. It's okay. Like you
Thank
just
you.
got a better setup, and the fact that this is your first time streaming, uh, you know, uh, um, but yeah, I'm gonna go get a better camera. Is what I'm saying
Good.
here.
Yeah, there we go. Right.
Uh,
Okay. Good. Yeah. If I leave now, right, we've achieved one thing. Right. Aaron's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
get
exactly.
upgraded. Brilliant. Yeah.
No, I
Cool.
think, what I'm excited about this one is that, I think your base, and we'll get into it. So, right. So, like, I think it's a perfect example of like you have these tools, namely
Hmm.
Salesforce, that, you work with on a daily basis, and you see like there's some things that would work better in another tool.
Yeah.
And, I think the challenge is like, how do you get there? Right. And like your job, you're a salesperson, so like your job is not to build tools, but
Yeah.
like I think no code makes it super accessible and
Definitely.
possible, but there's that real gap
Mm.
between like I kind of understand this, but I don't know how to use it properly. So maybe tell us a little bit about like what it is that you do and what is that gap that you see,
Yeah.
that where you think no code could kind of fit as a salesperson.
Sure. Yeah. I think if you speak to any salesperson that uses a big CRM, like a Salesforce or a HubSpot or any of the others out there, like Pipedrive, etc., they're quite clunky and they're not really designed for the end user. They're designed for kind of the CROs and things where you can look at a top-down view of making sure that everyone's towing the line and bringing in revenue. Right. I get that, but when you're working with something on a daily basis, it's quite complicated, and there's so many different fields you have to fill in. And me, like many other salespeople out there, we don't maybe spend enough time in Salesforce or the other CRMs that we'd like to. So I see no code and the gap really as being a place I can go regularly to look at a glance, see how I'm doing, see what things are working, what things aren't working, what things I need to be kind of chasing up with. And instead of building it in, say, a Notion or any other kind of plethora of platforms out there, there's even like some other CRMs that link to CRMs and things. I think building something kind of almost from scratch in a platform like Airtable, and then saying, this is what my day looks like. This is what I need to do today. How who am I need to chase? What's going well for me? What isn't? That I think is the major gap. And I think the problem I've got at the moment with Airtable is that I'm sure that a lot of the people on the stream will kind of agree with me here that you seem to build a lot of CRMs, Aaron, right? Like there seems to be a real need for like personal CRMs, and there isn't really a tool out there that does it really well. But Airtable's templates are they're quite standard. And I think that they're missing a trick in a sense. They should say, hey, let's build some more CRM templates, because it seems like everyone wants a CRM, like whether it be a
Yeah.
personal CRM or a work CRM,
Um,
So this CRM for me is going to kind of be like a bit work, but also a bit personal, something I could use in other jobs as well, not just the current role I'm in.
right.
So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think I don't want to dwell too longly. I want to jump into the base because I think we're making
Sure.
people wait. But I think templates are in all tools are how to say a double-edged sword in the sense that they make tools feel approachable, but if your tool's value is flexibility and customization, well, a template kind of is the opposite of that, right?
Yeah.
Within the same as a template. And so I actually think it's not that intuitive to take a template and turn it into what you want, especially that sales CRM are quite like
Yeah.
sales teams oriented. But
Yeah.
then if I gave you
Yeah.
30 templates of like personal CRM, small team
Yeah.
CRM, selling shoes CRM, you would be like, well, which one is
Yeah.
right? Right. And you
That's
end up,
exactly what Notion did. Yeah, you're right. I tried
and
it
it's
with
a
Notion.
challenge because then you
Yeah.
end up with like, what template do I need? Luckily, you can come on the
Yeah.
stream. Anytime you need a base build, we'll be happy to do it.
Yeah.
So I wanna jump into the base here,
Let's
and
go.
and I think it'll kind of clear up what's possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and so folks should see the base or not. Can you? Oops, I'm gonna share my screen with you.
Go for it.
There's a few things I need to make happen here. This is the transition period. There we
I
go.
can
Now
see this.
your camera doesn't look so good anymore
That's fine.
because I've killed it.
Yeah.
And it feels like folks can't see the screen either. Let me get that fixed. There we go.
Cool.
Just debugging live on the stream, which is always great.
No base, but we
get
can
that.
see a fat sack fails. Yeah, well, what a duo right here. Hey, fat sack fails.
Let me get that. Let me get you guys set up here. I think I need to do like that.
There's a lot of clicking going on, but
Nope. I gotta. Let's do another one.
let's do it.
And then browser source. I'm doing this live on stream is never a good idea, but we're gonna get it done.
Cool.
There we go. And then,
It'll be worth it, I promise.
yeah, I promise, guys. Give me a sec here. Oh, I'm putting the wrong thing. We're gonna cut this out in the post.
I think leave this in. This is some of the best content you like to see, right? You've got this
So-
like Arduino stuff going on. Like, yeah, you're working on
Yeah,
some
that's
critical projects.
my. Okay, here we go. There we go. Chrome 2, add source, and there we go. Let's give this into automate all the things. There we go. We're getting there, folks.
Yes.
All right, let me know if you can see the base. You should be able to see it now. I apologize for that. We'll fix it in post. Let me know if you can see that. Okay. Yeah, let me hide that Arduino stuff from you. Okay, we've got your base. So let
Right,
me know if
this
you
is
can't
good.
see it. All good. Apologies for that. We're going to cut that in post. So we're in your sales CRM, and you've got two tables in motion and grid view copy. And I'm already sensing some things we can improve. But
Good.
before I kind of jump into it, tell me what is in motion, and tell me what information you want to live in this base.
Absolutely. So I guess what I like to do is pulling clients in like down that classic like sales funnel, wherever people talk about it, right? So from initial stages where, I reach out to them, they get back to me about something, which is quite useful.
Right.
And then a disco is, it's not what you do on a Saturday night or anything. It's actually a discovery. So a discovery call. So I will have spoken to them
Right.
about a problem and solving a problem. So, and once the discovery is done, then normally we go down a demo route. So we have a demo session with them
Right.
about, after the discovery comes, hey, let's demo our platform and see what you think of it. And then after the demo is done, ideally I would then send them commercials. And then once commercials are sent, ideally they would go live. So that
Right.
is in a very kind of raw format. That's kind of what it looks like. And
So
so, yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you're building a base, right? To talk about your goal is to move contacts down a funnel, right? So
Hmm.
you always want to know where they are in the funnel. And so your kind of people you're moving down are people, right? So this is, you have names, right? So
Yep.
these are, so your, this first table are like a contacts table. These are people.
Yeah, these are people that look after. So I guess they're brands, but they're people that are responsible for those brands. Absolutely.
Got it.
So
Okay.
they're like the
Well, that's
key. Yeah.
actually
So
something really important. Do you want to keep track of what brand they're a part of, right? So the reason I'm doing this work is that you want to kind of initially decide, what are the different distinct elements or lists that are in my workflow in an Airtable. And I think this might be a little different from spreadsheets if that's the world you're used to, is like it almost has that Salesforce relational database. You want to have contacts, right,
yeah.
who are part of companies, right?
Hmm.
But you may not want to track that information because you're really working at the contact level.
Yeah, I guess here, contacts, a lot of that is like they already exist in Gmail and things. So,
Right.
one of the ideas was maybe pulling in like LinkedIn information or something like that would be kind of
Hmm.
cool. Not necessary, but as an add-on, absolutely, like
We
that would
can
be
do
really
that. Yeah.
nice. Great. I mean,
But
yeah, that's something that would definitely be interesting to me to look at.
do you do you feel like it's important in your workflow in Airtable to know what company each contact is in, right? You have client and then you have
Yeah,
contact, right?
yeah.
What's the distinction between those two things? Is this just an
So,
email
so a
and this is
client
a
might be say
contact?
Nike, and then
Okay.
the contact would be someone who works at Nike. So
So
it
what
might be.
happens if you have two people at Nike? Would you ever track two
Yeah, I
people?
mean, again, I could do. I guess this is just kind of a simpler version of it. So, within like Salesforce or like the more
Right.
advanced things, like we could maybe add like those in, and they could be like there could be a separate table where you've got all of your contacts and things like that's definitely something to bear in
Mm-hmm.
mind. I think how I like to use Airtable that might be different from others is I kind of want to use it as like a supplementary CRM. I think
Right.
a lot of the other kind of CRMs that you've built, that's kind of been like this is the only CRM you're going to use, right? But I think a lot of
Right.
people, when they're in work, they're forced to use other CRMs that are kind of just clunky and maybe a bit inferior. So I guess the reason that I approached you with this one was I just want to make like almost like a bite-sized CRM that isn't daunting, because
Okay.
the HubSpots and the pipe drives and things of this world,
Yeah.
they're just a little bit too much. Maybe I think
Okay.
I want to
So let's
see
keep
everything on
it.
one page.
Yeah. So let's keep it contacts. That's totally fine. So you're saying that information around client is just. We'll get to this a little later. So then you have
Yeah,
product, and
yeah,
then
absolutely.
ARR, which is the deal size. It feels like.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, okay, it's status, last touch, which I
yeah.
imagine is the last date you talk to them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, and again, I'm not doing very well with this whole dates thing, right? Because when to chase, I just kind of choose like an arbitrary date and like maybe I should speak to them on this date or that date. Like
Right.
there's no real science behind it. But again, one of the problems with Airtable is that, it's not a natural CRM in the sense that I don't get a red flag when I need to speak to these people, right? So that would be kind of
Okay.
really useful to have.
Okay.
And
We
then
can do that.
just in the
Yeah.
notes, it's like, what I need to do next or what's going on next. And then I've got a link to Salesforce in there. So like, again, like I don't know if that would be kind of useful. And then the deck that there is a link within Salesforce where the deck goes. So I don't know whether I need to connect it. I don't know what that would look like. But again,
Right.
what did I present to them? What's the latest? What does it look like? So if I get a
Okay.
question from my boss or something like, what do you speak to about? What's going on? I can have a quick look in here and go, oh, actually, here's a Google Slides document, and this is what we do. So
Right.
that's kind of and it looks kind of quite simple here and things, but I know that there's some pretty cool stuff that we could be doing that makes it a lot more interesting, a
Yeah.
lot more exciting. Even like
So,
flipping it to a Kanban occasionally, right, and just seeing stuff like that. That's quite useful to me. But I guess the problem is that editing information in a Kanban is a bit prohibitive, so I don't like doing it like that way. But again, it can be good to like see it and visualize occasionally. So yeah,
okay, so let's try to narrow down a few things we can like, quickly improve what I'm hearing from you. And I'm going to ask you a few questions of like,
cool.
where do, yeah, I think Ethan is right. Like it's a very solid base. I think we can do a lot, but I just want to kind of make sure
Cool.
that, whatever it is that we're building kind of makes sense for, so a few things you had mentioned before, right? So the first thing is you mentioned this, like when to chase and last touch, the link between
Mm-hmm.
these two, like based on the last touch, like how much time do you want to spend before chasing? It sounds like that could be calculated. You also kind of mentioned that like you would like to be emailed or notified when this date is approaching and something hasn't happened.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Then note taking seems to be like something we can work on. I guess looking at this, what ARR, does that have a tie to product?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
See, yeah.
Okay.
No. So ARR is kind of like, again, when you're at initial stages, like discovery done, that figure can change quite a lot. You kind of,
right.
They don't necessarily tell you what they're looking to spend. You get an idea on it, but it's not like a clear figure. So as you move down that commercial scent, you get a much better idea of what that might look like. But at an earlier level, it's kind of like a figure of like ish, kind of a approximation. But that's kind of what it looks like. But yeah, no, I mean that's sorry.
I think there's a few things. So the first thing we'll work on in a bit is like, how do we, make this dependent on the last touch? How could we update last touch automatically or make it easier to update based on emails and things like that? We can
amazing. Yeah, that would be really good.
One thing we could do is automate the sending of a reminder to yourself when you haven't done something. We can do that as well. So let me just write those out actually before I forget. So let's just kind of let's give ourselves a little description, little checklist for today.
Okay. See, again, for novices like me, you get these like automations and apps on the right hand side. You're like, these just look a bit scary to me. So okay, this is good. Yeah,
they won't be. Don't be scared. Yeah. Don't be scared.
Okay,
so the first
is
we're gonna calculate when to chase. That's gonna be step one. Yep. And then we're gonna do automate reminders, right?
Yeah.
So those feel like things we can do. I don't know, in the chat, any ideas on that I'm missing here? So we said automate reminders. Let's do that. I can speak to the Salesforce part and how do you but let's keep that for the end, right? Just because I feel like there's a lot we can do.
Yeah. Before then, definitely.
And talk to me about this grid view copy. What is this? Yeah,
so this is kind of like a dream list of clients, I guess, that I've just kind of plucked. I like my tech, right? So I've got a lot of like geeky stuff in here, like, NVIDIA or like whatever, Xbox. Like clients, I'm like, hey, it'd be really cool to speak to some of these clients and these brands. So what I'd like to do is kind of have a connection where I go, well, here's a list of clients that I'd like to kind of speak to.
Right.
And then when I email them, when I message them or something, when I get something back or when I connect to my calendar, again, I don't know what it would look like, Aaron, but it'd be great if you kind of put automatically into that kind of the contact sheet or that kind of my main sheet where I'm like, okay, they go to like initial, like the first like part of the funnel. So just moving them down the funnel, because it's like even like pre-initial stages are people I've identified or brands that I've identified as maybe being relevant. That would be really useful.
Okay, so there is a link potentially between contacts and clients, but that link would be with this centralized list of potential clients, right? So how do we, let's say this is like your master list of companies that you want to reach out to and then kind of update their status. Okay, this feels right. Cool. We can definitely do that. And this was a synced table.
Yeah, it was. Right? Yeah, see, the problem with that is that, that was an Integromat thing, so it's gone a bit ugly that side. So I'm like, as I was saying to you, like I don't know what happened. I thought I'd spend like a Sunday evening, right, of all evenings, right, gotta go right. I'm gonna finally get to this like Integromat thing. Like everyone talks about Zapier and Integromat. I'm gonna like find out what to do. And so someone at work said, hey, like one of the real like mega geeks over in Israel, they said, hey, I only use Integromat now because it goes so much deeper than Zapier. So I was like, okay, I'll do the same. And then I went in it, and it's like I was like having like a crying fit. I was like, what is this program? It looks, even though that it was like, yeah, it's drag and drop, it's easy. It's like there's so many things that need to be amended and tweaked and fixed. And I'm like, for novices like me, like this isn't the easiest thing. So maybe I should have gone down a Zapier route, and I realized that now. Where essentially it just, I had like, it's called like an obsession 50, like a 50 brands that I need to be like working on in 2021. And that's the list of clients that's connected to it. But yeah, maybe I need to like,
let's talk. I think I have some options for you. So Thanks, Colleen, for noting that we have to Kanban is something we have to do. Okay,
Yep.
so let's walk through this. So it seems like there's contacts. They're going to be tied to clients. That
Yep.
list comes from somewhere else,
Hmm.
and we could talk and think through like how do we automate some of those steps. But it sounds like you're inputting those clients. They're contacts. They're tied to a client, and let's actually just focus on contacts first,
Yep.
right? So the first thing is kind of this primary key, right? So maybe this is a little too advanced to get started with, but you never want it to have the possibility of having the same first field. And the reason is when we're going to start linking fields across different tables, you want to make sure that you're able to find the right field you want to link to. What I mean by this is that if we were ever to connect to contacts, we have to
Yep.
make searching contacts easy and possible. So do you usually just use their email? What do you use at the
Well,
contact level
say
that would
so for client, like that for me is the actual the clients are like the brands.
right? Okay. And that comes
So
from here.
so yeah, the list of clients here, like so client name there, like that is rather than the name of a person, that's the name of a brand. So that's where like
Okay.
Nike would be in like cell one, like client one would be
Right.
Nike. Yeah, so it's a brand. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do
Yeah.
this. So let's actually start there. So your brands come from your list of clients,
Yeah.
right? So let's actually connect each contact to the right client. So
Okay.
whenever you're thinking like, okay, I have my list of clients here.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me let's and you're saying, okay, but I want to be able to say that this contact works at GeForce, this contact
Yeah.
works at Heineken. Well, you
Yeah.
can create a link record which will communicate across tables,
Okay,
right?
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
here we're going to say this is brand, and we're going to create a
Okay.
linked record linking to another record. We're linking to list of clients, and we're not going to allow linking to multiple records, saving that. So
Okay.
here, when I click this plus button,
Okay.
it's going to pull up all of those contacts,
Okay,
all
yeah,
of those
nice. Yeah.
clients,
Yeah.
right? So let's say the first one you said Nike. You don't have Nike in your list. Let's say GeForce. You can
Yeah.
then associate it. And now client one, like it's Andrew Chung. So you can just say, here it's Andrew Chung. And you know that Andrew Chung works at GeForce,
Yeah.
right? So we don't need this contact field anymore. And if I
Yeah.
move over to GeForce, if I move over to clients and I go see GeForce right here, you'll notice that I now see an association. It's hidden here.
Yeah.
Contacts. I have a
It's
link to the contact.
okay, yeah, like it. Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
have multiple contacts at GeForce, you can then
Yeah.
see that association, and
Yeah.
it kind of creates it's kind of like that Salesforce to company link that you'll have in Salesforce as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Okay. So a few things like I just want to we're going to bullet through a few improvements here. I
Good.
saw
Yeah.
that there's a concept of top 50, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I imagine that list is important to you. So what I just did, I went here,
Yeah.
I created a new view, and
Yeah.
I'm saying, okay, filter down to where top 50 is checked,
Yeah.
right? So now
I
I
think
can
it's more than
always,
50. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
you're always referencing that
Brilliant. Yeah.
that list. And so if anything is important, right, you can say like, okay, well, right now, because I whenever I see a base with only grid view,
Yeah.
I'm always a little worried, right?
Novice play. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a great question in the chat, which foreshadows where I was actually going with this. So right now, if you look at this field, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say here we put Adam Chug, right? You don't know where Adam Chug works.
Yeah.
However, and you could have, a future in which you have 2 Adam Chugs or 3 Adam Smiths. And so
Right.
what you'd love in this first field is to have the brand and the name.
But see, I guess I'm not so bothered about the name. Like that's just a person that should sign. Like the key for me is right. I'll get a question on like, how is I don't know like Nike going, and I'll say right, how is Nike going? Right, yeah, here it is, and this is the plan. This is the latest. So like the
Right.
name, and the problem with like the reliance on names is particularly in marketing is that people move jobs all the time. So Adam Chug might next week be like Adam Drug, right? There might be a new, he might be replaced. So that it's quite like that revolving door at brands is
Got
a
it.
bit of an issue. So
Okay, so this is almost like opportunities. So this isn't as much
yeah,
context.
opportunities is better. Yeah, client. Yeah, absolutely. So I think like for me, the first field needs to be the brand because whatever happens, like Nike isn't going anywhere, but Adam Chug might go somewhere. So the
Okay,
key is,
so
yeah, that's like
I wouldn't put the brand but we'll make it easy, right? So even
okay.
if you replace this, we'll
Yeah,
keep both just because
yeah,
I do foresee a world in which you may have two people at the same company, maybe buying different products, right,
yeah.
or doing different things. And I don't want to be over reliant on that. So let's do this. So have you worked with formulas at all in Airtable?
A little, but not really. And again, the roll up thing, I'm like, this is
No,
next
no, roll
level.
up is something else. We're talking about
Right.
formulas.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Formulas.
yeah. I mean, I'm okay in Excel at formulas, but when it
Okay.
comes to this, like, I'm not
So
as good.
So I'm curious, what is different in your mind between an Excel formula and an Airtable formula?
I guess because Excel is like it feels like it's made to have formulas. It's because it isn't pretty, right? Equal sum if or ifs or something like it just feels
Okay.
like it just for some reason it feels easier. I think because in Excel I'm used to dealing with numbers, whereas in Airtable it's more text heavy. So
Okay.
I'm not
So
very
how
good
would you
formulas with text. I'm like, whoa.
Okay. So how would you concatenate or kind of join two text cells
Hmm.
in Excel?
Yes, I wouldn't. I just focus on the numbers.
Okay.
Like
Well, let's imagine let's
yeah.
Google it. So
Okay.
let's
Okay.
concatenate two cells Excel. No one ever
Okay.
tell, right? So it just says equal, go get the cell, put a little
Plus.
ampersand,
Yeah.
go get the other cell,
Hmm.
right? Does that make sense? Like that feels
Yeah.
pretty natural, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the challenge in Airtable, in the value of Airtable, is you say in advance what's in each of the fields, right? So you know that this is text. So
Yeah.
and there's consistency across the fields, right? That's why we Airtable, and this might be like a little theoretical bent, but Airtable and relational databases ask you before you input information like, hey, what are you going to put in this? And
Yeah.
that's very different from Excel. And so
Yeah.
really when
True.
you're kind of coming from Excel and thinking about Airtable formulas, in Excel, very often you would say like, okay, well, take A2 and B2 and concatenate them. And then you would just
Mhm.
scroll down for the rest of the column, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Double
Airtable,
double click and yeah.
right, exactly, the double click. In
Yeah.
Airtable,
Yeah.
you're just saying, well, we know what's in each one of those columns.
Hmm.
So we can just say, take every item in column A and concatenate it with every field in column B, and that's the value of this column. So let's actually do exactly the same thing we would do in Excel, but just a little more intuitively. So we're going to
Okay.
call this opportunity. And we're going to use a formula field. Let me know if that explanation resonates. I'm always trying to explain Airtable formulas to folks coming from Excel. So here we're
Yeah.
saying, okay, we're going to have something concatenated with a space. And here what we want is the brand. In Excel, we would click on A2.
Yeah.
But here we're just saying put the brand. Just take the value that's in the brand,
Yeah.
put a space, and then go and get contact.
Okay.
Right? So instead
Yeah.
of saying like that specific cell,
Hmm.
let's just go ahead and do that. We save that, and then it's going to drag that down. So let's say Andrew Chung works at Acer. It's going to update to Acer Andrew Chung,
Yeah.
right? And as you're, and if you change and you say, okay, well, it's not Adam Chung anymore, it's Jeff Bezos, this is going to then update automatically,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's just like a quick primer on, and what's great is that if you have two people at Adidas, we can still differentiate them. Now, in your case, that might not come up, but that's okay. So
Okay.
let's get back into our checklist. What else did we want to do?
He could sort Acer out, I think. They make good monitors, but they haven't done anything else for a while. So yeah.
Okay. So your next was like, okay, how do I calculate when to chase? So this, tell me about like, is it always like maybe 2 weeks after? What is a
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, good question. So I think for all the things at the moment, right, it being the 16th of December, right, it's probably going to be the new year now, right? So that's fine. So some of these things, even though you've got this American date system in here where it's like I can't get my head around whether I chase this guy, like, is it the 1st of April I'm chasing Andrew Chung or the 4th of January? Like, I can't.
Here.
But no, that's fine. No, it's fine. You can keep it,
There you go.
Oh, no,
How does that
that's
feel?
better. Okay, right. Now I know what I need to chase, right? Why didn't you show me before? What am I doing
There
on
you
a
go.
stream? I've got to go and chase all these people. Yeah, so you're like, for example, like sell in 5, right? 11th of
Yep.
December, like that's like 5 days ago. So I should have chased like, but there's
Right.
no, this is the thing, like there's no like, Matt, get ahead and chase these people. So I'm like, okay, I haven't chased them because the date is
Right.
just a field that, can be ignored.
So two things here. Is it that you want to calculate when to chase based off of last touch?
See, that's not as important. I'd like to sort by last touch, but then I want to have when to chase as like, I haven't
Okay.
spoken to these guys for X number of days. So it'd be really good to see, firstly, when I last touched, and secondly, when I last chased, like calculated the days for today's day. So
Okay,
that
so
every
let's
day that goes on,
yeah. So
in
how
my
would
head,
you
that'd
like
be useful.
so do you want a big thing that says that you're late? How about that? A big field
Yeah,
that
that'd be
says
perfect. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay, let's do that.
Amazing. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Late.
Yeah, I like it. This is
Right.
good.
So we're going to use a formula field. And tell me in words, what that like in Excel, right? Let's say you want to check whether you're late. How would you do that in Excel?
Well, you see, because if I've got the date in Excel, then
Right.
normally I have like I could put a date in a cell, and I'd say equals, and then I'll do that date minus that date, and it will tell me like the number of days between that. That seems to be how in my head I would do it.
Right. Right.
So
You're saying like is today
yeah,
past when to chase?
absolutely, yeah. And if it
Right.
is, like I want it to go red, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Where,
let's
so,
do it. Let's
yeah,
do it. It's going to be red. It's going to be super red.
perfect.
Okay, let's do it.
Super red.
Okay.
Yes, Aron.
So we're going to say if today, right, is greater than when to chase. I don't know if this is going to work.
Okay, well, this is good, right? Because
But is it saying, okay, is today further along than the date of when to chase?
Mm-hmm.
If that's true, we're late. If that's not true, we're not late.
Okay.
I know there's a mistake there, but it's okay. I don't want to, let's save that. Okay, so see, now we know when we're late.
So that was really easy, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Okay, this is good.
So now, and then you said you wanted it red, right?
Yeah.
So then we can just go ahead and color.
Conditional formatting. Oh, there we go. See?
Conditions. So let's give this like a nice dark red. So when to
see, Airtable's not great on red either. That's pink in my head.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like a good dark red.
Someone say it in that chat right there.
No, I've got a pixel thing.
That looks pink to me.
Really?
Maybe my eyes are going funny. I mean, I've been up for like nearly 18 hours, but still, that looks pink. I don't know.
Here's let's check it out. What color is
F82C6?
Color
red value. Oh, that is not red.
No? It's a
British pink. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I will take your feedback and I will tell the team that the red is not red enough.
Amazing. There we go. Because I did actually check. I was like, there isn't a great red here. FF40s. Yes. C. Brady's got it completely right. I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So now we're saying, okay, when late is late, you have the red right there. So this is at the row level. You're going to tell me that's not ideal, right?
No, that's fine. I can see that quite simply. Like that's good.
Okay. So let's go a little further.
Okay.
Let's just do late deals. And then we're going to filter where
clever.
late contains late.
I see what we did there.
Right? Oh, no, it's the wrong. Is late, not contains. Is late.
Is. Oh, yeah, good point. Is late. Okay.
Let's group that. Boom.
Nice.
So now you have all of your late deals.
Brilliant.
Now, right?
Okay, that looks good. Yeah.
Next, let me just make sure, calculate when to chase. But you said you wanted reminders.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do reminders.
Nice.
have you played around with Airtable automations at all?
I did one or two, and then it got a bit scary, so no.
What I'm curious, what scared you?
I don't know. I kind of in my head, I
It's
was like,
okay.
well, if I'm going to go down automation route, then I'm going to go Zapier. So this feels like kind of an in between thing. So I was like,
Right.
yeah. Yeah,
So I guess Matt, tell me what is Zapier? Like, how do you think of Zapier?
yeah. So Zapier for me feels like a platform that connects apps that aren't normally connected. It seems in my head, like it
Right.
seems like an easy way of connecting, say, like Gmail and Google Calendar with Salesforce, with Airtable, like all these kind of new, and this
Right.
mainly seems to be like the no code space, all these kind of cool things that come up. And it's like, oh, they're great, but how do we actually connect them all? And it's like, there's just API. It's like, yeah, I know, but like, what does that mean? It's like, well, for
Okay.
people like me, it's like, okay, if you log into Zapier, it says, hey, you've got a Gmail account here, you've got a calendar here, and you've also got an Airtable over here. Do you want to connect them? And I'm like, yes, please. And they go, hey, we can do it for you. So that
Okay.
seems to be how it
Well,
feels for me.
I'm going to walk you through building an automation, and you're going to tell me how
Amazing.
this feels, right? So let's do an
Okay,
automation. Let's say
brilliant.
send reminder
Okay.
when when we're late. When late. There we go.
Hmm.
I'm very bad at naming things. I apologize. Okay,
That
so
looks
then we're
quite
going
good
to
to me.
choose a trigger. So this is saying what is going to set the automation in motion, right? The word trigger, if you've worked in Zapier, should feel quite familiar
Yep.
actually,
Yep.
right? So we're saying when a record matches conditions, right? So we're saying when a record has specific conditions. You can also do when a record enters a view, right? That late deal view.
Hmm.
That's going to put the automation in motion, right? So when a
Okay.
record matches conditions, we're going to say when a record in the opportunities table
Yeah.
has late equal to late, right?
Right.
Right here, let's go late. That's our condition. We could have actually just put
So that seems
when.
really easy.
Let's
Right.
run a test. Let's see what pulls up, right? Let's go see that record. So it went and got, which record did it went got? It went got Fred Aldis,
Oh yeah.
who's right here,
Yep.
right? So we know that's the one. So let's click done.
Hmm.
Let's add an action. In this case, you can do Slack message. I don't know if you work out of Slack. You
I
can
love
send an
Slack.
email.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
You can
Yeah.
you can even create a calendar. Like remind me to follow up. You
Yeah.
can
That's
do a
much
Google
better.
Sheet, Twitter. You can tweet to people that you're late on your deal, and it's probably not what you want to do. You can send an Outlook email. Let's send a simple Airtable email. I'm gonna send
Okay.
it to myself,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say, "Hey, you're late on this deal."
Nice.
And you can even pull in. So I'm clicking the plus button there. So let
Yeah.
me pull up and say, okay, go into step 1 and get the name of the contact.
Yep.
Right? Is waiting. So now it's gonna go and pull in Fred Aldis and say you're late on this deal. Fred Aldis is waiting. Hey,
Like it.
Matt, you need to step up your game.
Nice.
Follow up game. You're late on this deal worth. And you can even pull in that value. So any of these values, similar,
Clever.
right? You can go see,
Yeah.
okay, this is worth 15. Just a little bit of motivation, I'm sure, for you.
I like it. Yeah. This is what I need. Right. It's perfect. But yeah,
So
this is
insert
good.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
let's run the test. Let's click done. So let's turn this on. And I haven't done this in a while. I don't know what my...
Now you're gonna get loads of emails, Aaron. I like this. Is good. Can you just
Uh,
basically chase? Can you chase all my clients for me tomorrow, please? That'd be amazing.
I feel like they're
Amazing.
gonna be they're gonna be very disappointed when I bring them on the stream and I'm like, hey, do you want to learn Airtable? And they'd be like, no.
Not as disappointed if I do your job for a few weeks and I go,
Yeah.
hey guys, just let me have a look at your Airtable base, let me fix this for you, and then someone will say, do you want to concatenate? I'm like, I'm gonna hide under my desk. So
We both fail. So let me actually just show y'all the email. I have to hide my screen, which I haven't done in a while, so I don't know what that looks like. But let me go into my emails. No, you're good. You're good. There we go. And then let's go back to our main stream here. And here we go. We have that email. It says, hey, Matt, you need to step up your follow-up game. This deal is
amazing.
worth... And let's actually test this in real time, right? So let's imagine that, let's go back to the main, let's call this main view.
Yeah.
Right. And say, hey, this ones were not late, right? But actually we were wrong. It was due on the 15th.
Yeah.
Right. So what we see, that updates.
Mm-hmm.
That means that it now has the right conditions for when a record matches conditions. Right.
Yeah.
So if we go to runs, we see that it's run successfully.
Yeah.
Right. So it just ran that automation. Let me hide y'all again, just to, if you don't trust me, I'm going to go back into my inbox here, Airtable automations, and we're back, right? So
there's no limit on these automations, right? That's the difference.
It's not a limit as much as is that you can be extremely granular as to when you want that trigger to run, right? So here, we only used when record matches conditions, when late is late, right? But you can say only email me if the deal is worth over $20,000, right? Yeah. So you can say, okay, only when and ARR is greater than, 20,000, like don't waste my time under that, right? And when the product is something that we can actually sell, right? Amazing. So is any of or has any of, right? So like you can select. And now it'll run, right? Yeah. You can do multiple. You can then update, you can do another action that says, let me actually remove some of these.
This is great. No, I love that one. Because actually I can see a real use for this, for the kind of the rise of no code, right? It's going to be having a personal CRM that's connected to what you're doing on a daily basis. I think that's, at the moment, for a lot of people like myself, they're kind of, and a lot of people do for some reason use Notion, but again, like there's lots of templates in Notion, but it's very obviously it's like built for text, right? Whereas this is obviously built for that kind of combination of text plus numbers. I think, numbers don't work very well in Notion, and I'm sure there's quite a lot of people that are in the chat that know a lot more than I do about it, but I've had a go on it, but it just feels to me like a really lovely word processor. But when you try and build databases in it, it just kind of feels a bit clunky. So
I try not to wade into the Notion versus Airtable debate, to be not because, obviously I work at Airtable and everyone knows my opinion. It's just that I feel like, Airtable, what it does is provide a very useful way of working with structured information, which in my view, appeals to me because most of my workflows are structured, right? And so especially sales and things like that are very kind of structured information. Your contacts go into opportunities. Your opportunities can be related to multiple companies and things like that. So, a relational database tends to, work well. Okay. So we've automated reminders. Any other automations that you'd be curious about before we move on to, Kanban and a few other things we can improve here?
Yeah, I guess, and I think someone asked this actually on the stream, is like if there's an opportunity to sat within like a status for a period of time, like say if I've had something in like initial stages for like say longer than 14 days, for example, like maybe I get a nudge on that saying like, let's get on with this. That would be a really useful one as well.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, I like this one. I really like this one. Okay.
Okay. Cool. I'm trying to see who that was. Someone down. I was like, this looks quite interesting.
It's Ethan. Ethan, who said, "Do you have a minimum amount of time you want to in every opportunity?" Yeah, that's a good point. So, okay, let me think about this. Okay, so what's very easy to build is when was the last time we've updated the status, right? That feels right. So saying, okay, when was the last time the status has changed? And then based off of that, we'll say if that's more than 3 weeks. That's a stale deal. We need to send an email or proactively do something. Does that feel right?
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do it. Excited.
Nice.
I love these little.
So, but could all this pull into, say, email's great, but like everyone else gets that bombarded with it. I could create my own Slack channel, could I, where all this could sit?
Yeah, of course.
That would be like, that's brilliant. Okay, that's really, really exciting. Cool.
Yeah. So let's do that. We'll do the Slack example as an automation.
Brilliant.
And we can see. Okay, so So the first field I'm gonna call is time and status,
Yeah, that's
or
good. Yeah, time and set.
last update of status,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
in Airtable, you can say, okay, in this field, give me the time or the date time last time a specific field was updated. What I mean in
Ah,
English is last modified time,
hmm,
right? And we could say
yeah.
only look at the status field,
Ah, nice. Okay.
right?
See,
And it
again, I
says,
didn't know this was possible, so that's great.
right. So that's step one. This is saying, like, right, if I update this, so let's say I move this into demo done, that updates to right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now what you want to say is like, okay, well, with that, similar to how we looked at late, we can say how much time has it been
Mm,
since we last updated that status,
yeah.
right? So here we're
Hmm.
going to do, days in status.
Yeah.
We're going to use a formula field because we're taking two existing fields and try to calculate something,
Yeah.
right? Oops, I forgot to. There we go. Okay, so what is that formula? So I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot for doing this. So I will.
See, this is no, but the difference is that I think what
How
I
would you?
like about Excel is that if you put an equals in or something, like you can like drag and drop. Like that seems even easier, weirdly, than it does
Really?
to create a formula. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe because I do know how to make formulas in
Okay, well,
Excel. Like,
how would you write this formula in Excel?
so I do equals, and then I'd find out. Uh, wait. So I do the date today minus the date. Yes, I do
Right.
equals date minus last update of status. Enter, and I think I might get away with it. But it would be
Okay,
a
so you
lot
would
of
say
like,
today. You would say today
yeah,
minus.
the last update of status.
Okay, let's just do that. There you go. That doesn't work, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we need to do something different in Airtable, and the reason is because this is not in the same format. So what we can do in Airtable is use date time diff.
Right.
This is, and when you read it, it's very simple. It says, okay, give it a date.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Give it another date and tell you in what units you want to return the difference,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's say we say, okay, we want to take today, from today
Mm-hmm.
until last update of status,
Yeah.
and return the difference in days.
Right.
And then we have it. We have the days in status. So far
Okay, that
makes
is good.
sense
Yeah,
or
it
not
does. Yeah,
making
yeah,
sense?
absolutely. No, no, it completely does. But I guess the difference is, and what I like about Excel, even though I love Airtable, is that I could just have a like cell A1 could just be today's date, so I don't have to like convert anything. I just go right
Yeah.
today. It's so that's what in a weird way, it's
I
good
think
at processing dates because it's a number. Whereas if
I
I were to
think
write a
the
text,
yeah, I think the challenge of moving to the ease of use of spreadsheets is extremely appealing, right? And I totally, as an ex finance person who would live
yeah,
in spreadsheets, right? I think the difference is that when how you structure your information. Right now, in your example, you need a field that is today,
mm-hmm.
right? And that just lives there,
Yeah,
right? It
that's
has no
it. It just
structure
lives
to
there.
it.
Yeah,
It just lives there, and I
yeah,
understand that appeal. But now that you've done this once, you don't need to like update that date, and then the advantage, and
yeah.
I feel like you're sold on Airtable. I don't need to sell it to you,
No,
but
no, I am
now
completely. I've been using it for years,
this
but not very well.
now you
That's
can
my
use
problem.
this. You can use this in a reminder,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So
Hmm.
here, coming back to our example, you can create another automation that is, you know, uh, uh, stale deal,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
says, okay, again, when a record matches conditions in your opportunities table, so that condition would be when days in status,
Hmm.
is greater than, I don't know, 10. Does that feel
Yeah,
natural?
sure. Yeah, 10 feels good. Yeah.
Okay, let's update. Let's give this a little bit None of these have been. Let's give it 5, just because I can't.
Yeah,
I can
because
move
there's a
them
few.
forward,
Yeah,
but I can't move them back.
yeah.
Right?
Because I'm such an efficient salesperson, is what you mean, Aaron. Yeah, there we go.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. You're always
great.
updating your
Yeah,
deals.
there we go. Right, good.
You
Get it
can
on the
then
chat,
send.
right? Okay,
You can send it a Slack message,
brilliant.
right?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I think I might
No,
have
but
one, but
that looks legit. That looks good.
sales and say, hey, this deal is stale, and then pulling in information from previous steps.
Love it. Love it. This is
Right.
really good. Yeah.
Go and then if you were to update it, it would then, kind of get out of that stale
Love it.
opportunity.
Perfect.
So this is a second automation. All right. I think what's interesting is I assumed coming into this that like your challenge is going to be the whole Salesforce link, but it sounds like actually much more of your challenge is like, how do I operate within this one sheet that I already have?
Yeah, that's it. I think, the key for a lot of people is going to be, having to use and like yield to like bigger businesses is fine. But I think having something quite simple that you can build just to go, hey, this is what my day-to-day looks like. That
Right.
is perfect. So
Okay.
rather than be daunted by it, this looks like really clean and easy.
Let's, okay. So we're connecting clients, Kanban board, right? That was one of the things you mentioned. So let's,
Yeah, and also someone on the C Brady talked about it as well, like Kanban views,
Okay.
which is great. Yeah.
you are not a view user, I see. So let's go ahead and create a Kanban view.
Good idea.
So you can organize Kanban views by single selects or by collaborator fields, but you're going to be by yourself. There you go.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you didn't like, there was something you couldn't see much.
Yeah, so I like it in the sense that I like seeing like the state of play, but I don't like editing so much in a Kanban because I like dragging and dropping and things. But when you like want to make like amends to fields, it feels like you want to do that within more of a in my head like
Grid.
an old school XL grid. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
All right. Okay. What?
But yeah, this looks good.
So what else do you want to, I can kind of talk to you about how I would go about syncing, and I will end there because we're an hour in and I want to make sure that we kind of, deals, but I want to call this deals by status. I was like expecting to do like this whole syncing and multi application, but I'm happy that we did something much simpler and that I think will be much more useful to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was someone mentioned about not having to pay per zap for like internal automations. That again is a massive plus because
that's true.
I think when you leave something on, you kind of forget and you're like, wow, it's done like so many zaps. It's like what? So yeah, this feels like nice and simple and nice and easy. I think the key is really connecting it to the tools that I'm using on a regular basis. So absolutely Slack is where I live, but creating my own channel in Slack where I can kind of like filter out all of the noise for everyone else's deals and things that I see in Salesforce and just focus on all of my own deals. I think is really important. So it's almost great to kind of
Yeah, actually, this made me think. I think a good place to end will not be on the syncing because I think that's a whole other stream which would take an identifier. But I do want to talk to you about like what insights do you want on this, right? So what I mean by that is like you mentioned apps are intimidating to you. So what are some of things you'd like to do? So I'll shoot some out to you. Would you do deal review out of this base?
Yeah, I think I would do a deal review at this space, but also what we haven't touched on is, what happens when a deal is like either signed or it isn't, like, going to the end of that like pipeline. So it'd be quite good to like look back, once like commercial's been sent, like it'd be great to have like a deal signed and it would sit in a different table that connects to this. So I can look back and go, hey, this is these are the deals that came in and these are the deals that didn't. So I think
so this would just be another status, no?
Yeah, it would be another status, but I guess I don't need to see that on like the main screen. But it'd be good to like see like archived deals, for example. So you could just find out, just say, hey, look, across like the last quarter, 6 deals came in. Like that's quite good. Like things like that are quite nice.
Okay, so let's do that. So one thing I do want to say is that you should keep all of your deals in the same table, right? You should, even if you're archiving them. So let's say in your main view you don't want to see them, you can just filter them out.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
So let's say we filter out all statuses that are is not
deal
signed.
Perfect. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. I like
that. But then let's say you have a sign. Okay, we'll do this one. I'm trying to marry two things together, right? So let's go into our, not form. There we go. Grid. Let's call this sign deals. And what we're going to do is going to go ahead and filter down only to our signed deals. So where status is signed. And let's give us a few more deals here. Let's go into main view. And let's move these through deal signed. Deal signed. It was a big quarter for you.
No, massive. Look at that. I like this. Yeah.
And then say, okay, well, some of these were signed in, Q2, Q3, Q4, and you want to be able to kind of analyze on a graph, like, what did I sell this year?
Yeah.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah. Because, one of the real main issues that people have with Salesforce is that analyzing data is impossible. You have to export it into Excel. It's just stupid.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, let's give yourself like this deal Q4. Let's give you a deal in Q1. Let's give yourself a deal in Q3, or what I think is Q3.
Q2, but yeah.
Oh, is that Q2?
Yeah, it's fine.
Of course, you know your Q dates. Of
July,
course.
August, September. That's yeah. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
So here, like, I think the first challenge, let's actually just create some graphs and talk through. So let's say like deal pipeline, right? And let's say, okay, we want to create a chart that says, okay, give me my revenue by status.
Yeah.
Right. So I want my view to be my main view. Group that by status. This is telling you your pipeline. This is telling you have one initial stages, 3, 1, and you can click into any of them and see all of them.
Nice. Yep.
Right. But on the y-axis, instead, let's go by field. Let's sum ARR. Right. This gives you your pipeline size.
Nice.
Right. So let's save this. Now we have our first kind of chart. You can make this as large as you want.
Nice. Yeah,
right?
that looks good. Yep.
And let's make a copy of this. Duplicate.
I see. I got to a point here where I actually built one of these, but I only built one. So having more than one would be really useful. So yeah, this is really good.
Yeah. So here, instead of, we don't want to group, like we'll just look at the count. So this is going to be opportunities.
Yeah. Okay. This is great.
Right. And what's great is that you can say, like, on your review, you can say like, hey, what is going on with these 4, and click into the one you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant.
And so it's actually a very easy way to you can change the color, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's give this a good red.
But can you change them from those like default Airtable colors or not?
No, I think you only get these ones.
So I have to have that pink, right? That's pink. Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna have to live with the pink.
Right.
It's a great tool. I love the fact that you're like, it's a great tool, but the red is not red enough.
Yeah, there's no red. It's it's an American red with a British pink. I don't know. Yeah, I think someone said that. Yeah. So. Oh yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go talk to the team, and I'm sure that we're just gonna put this on top of the to-do list.
I think there's not much else that's more important than this. Just looking, just refreshing things at the moment. So that is 100% pink. You might as well go for the one left of it that's about as pink as it.
I just like to mess with you. I'm gonna put everything red.
Brilliant.
Because
British pink it is.
So one more I want to show you in terms of apps, right? So another was, so you mentioned pipeline review, right? So like there's actually one that I think is a lot of fun in terms of Page Designer, which I get your point of like I want to see things in a grid, but I like doing pipeline and meeting notes in Page Designer. So here you can say, like,
I've never used this. I saw this on one of your previous videos and it looked cool, but I never Yeah.
So let's imagine you're creating one, right? So let's say this is like your deal name.
Yeah.
Right. You make this much nicer than I will. And right? So I'm always sorry for the people on the stream because I always do a terrible job at this. So you can say like, okay, this is deal name, right?
Yeah.
And then you can even put your contact, right? Give them like a little color. Here you can pick the
Oh,
red you
wait.
want.
Look at what, where's this in the main? Yeah.
There you go. Give it like a
Yeah.
real red.
I call that red, right? Finally, we
Right.
can
Okay.
agree on
This is
something,
we
right?
could do the real red. And then what I like about it is that you had like you can have your ARR, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
This is cool. Yeah.
you can say give it another text. So ARR, put it here, right? And start.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm awful at this. I'm truly awful, right? But then what you can do, like I saw notes, right? So then you can add your deal notes, right?
Yeah. I
So
like
kind of
it.
have a
Yeah. Yeah.
log
Yeah.
of all of your meetings. A quick tip here is that currently you're using a single line text. Let me just change that. You can turn the single line text into a. I can now scroll with my my Arduino.
Oh,
So for
wow.
folks,
No way. Because you've
yeah,
had
because
quite a lot. Have you got a dash yet? Or have you still got to like find a dash on the internet and paste it in? Or is that?
no. I actually now have my little stream deck. I can't
Wow.
show
I
it to
need to build
people.
one of those. I can kind of, yeah, I can see it. That's
So
very
here, I'll
cool.
show you. I can scroll the
Wow.
Airtable base left to right. It's
That
not
is
very
amazing.
useful just yet, but that's where my stream deck is.
It doesn't matter. That looks
Uh,
good. I'm going to
don't.
build one of those, or I'm just going to buy an Elgato. I don't know. Yeah.
No, the
Would you
Elgato is
probably,
expensive. This
but
is
you
like
probably
a
spent a similar amount of money, didn't you?
no way. No. This was way cheaper. This
Okay.
was like 20, 30 pounds
Okay. Okay.
relative to like
That's not
hundreds.
cheap.
Okay.
Right.
So I was at notes. So right, instead of a single line text, you can do a rich text field.
Okay.
Right. So this will let you kind of take actual proper notes.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Like you can do next
Yeah.
steps, call Jeff, get money,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then
I like that. Yeah.
reflect
That looks good.
those onto your page designer.
Hmm.
Right. So now you can cycle through each one of your deals and do like proper pipeline review.
Nice.
This one's only on
Yeah.
signed
That's a really
deals.
good idea. That's a really good idea. I
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Let's get to the one with the rich text. Now I can't find it. And so ultimately, page. I'm a big fan of Page Designer.
Yeah.
Another one you mentioned was getting people's LinkedIn and things like that. And I think we'll end there. Oh, not another dashboard. Let's delete that. What you can use is,
Yeah.
what about nodes being? Yeah. So Colleen, man, you're crushing it. You can totally have notes as its own table and then tying it back to each contact and then rolling up all of your notes. So you have all of your notes in one place. And the advantage of that is you can have a date. So you can say this meeting I met with this contact or this client and I have the notes. I agree. It's a totally good idea.
That's next level. Yeah. I love that.
I wanted to show you, I forget its name, apps by Airtable. Clearbit. I don't know if you're familiar with Clearbit. So with Clearbit, I'm not going to install it. You can actually enrich leads.
Right. Amazing.
So let's say you have the name, the title. It's going to go and get their email, and you can also prospect. So you already have a prospector. So you already have a list of contacts. So you can actually, do your prospecting and enriching directly from Airtable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
So you enter
really
the domain, the titles that you want.
Yeah.
Click search, and it's actually going to output you contacts that work at that company.
Wow.
So all of that from Airtable. So name, title, get their email, get their information.
Love that.
It does take an
really
API
good.
key. You need an API key from Clearbit. I think there's like 100 for free. But just go get your API key, and then you can enrich from Airtable.
Brilliant. Yeah, that'd be really useful, Aaron. Nice one.
Cool. So I'm sorry we didn't get to syncing, but happy to chat with you offline to get that done.
That's amazing. Honestly, that's been so useful, and I hope it was useful for the stream as well, the chat, because I think
Yeah.
there's going to be quite a lot of people like me that are looking for something that kind of, as you say, bridges that gap. And I think obviously Airtable does most of it, but it'd be great to see, some of the newer like features and stuff like it maybe put within some of the templates because
Yeah.
yeah, like I didn't
I,
know about a lot of this stuff.
yeah, I
So
think
that's
it's a
going to be really
question of
good.
just playing around with it. I think, don't, if you add an automation, it's not going to break anything. If you add an app, it's not going to break anything. And so you
Yeah.
can really play around, like create a formula, doesn't work, delete it, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. And then if you get stuck, just like tweet at me and I'm always happy to help.
Yes. Look at that right here. And you've got to make sure you tell me about your new camera, right? That's the plan for next year, right?
You're gonna
Q1.
see it when
Right.
hopefully, if all go well, in January, I maybe not the first stream in January, but we'll definitely have a
No.
better camera.
Right.
All right.
I think
So
it looks good, but still,
no,
it's not a digital SLR. Right.
I can't live with the idea that folks can come on my stream and have a better setup than I do as the
Uh,
streamer. So I've got to up my game. But
Brilliant.
yeah. So thanks so much for joining, Matt. Stay on the Zoom, but we're gonna
Yeah.
be signing off for today. Yeah, I do need depth of field. I do. I need a lot of like. I stream a lot. I should have a good camera, and maybe people don't want to see me in that level of detail, and I get that as well, right? So with that, this was super fun. I'm always
Yeah.
excited to do kind of come back to the basics and just help you automate some of those mundane parts of your work, Matt. So hopefully
Brilliant.
this was useful. Hopefully this was useful for folks joining today. Last stream of the year. We'll be
Wow.
back in January. And then thanks, Benny. And yeah, we'll be back in January. We're gonna be streaming every week in January as well. So really excited. Make sure to follow if you don't. And yeah, really appreciate it. So happy New Year, everyone. Happy holidays. Can't wait to be back on the stream next year. There's gonna be a lot happening. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Bye,
Thanks,
y'all.
everybody.
Have a good one.
Great to speak to you. Bye.